G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, or it's more of a southeast side of the map, we've got Beastie Cutie and he is playing the Chinese in the color blue. On the opposite side of the map, it is the one, the only, the Viper. And he's going to be playing the Chinese as well, so that is correct. We have ourselves a little bit of a China mirror. Now, for anybody wondering why are these two battling up against each other, they are practicing right now for Golden League. Golden League is happening this weekend. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch it. I'll also leave links in the description to both of these creators and their content, so you can find out a little bit more about them if you're interested in doing so. But these two guys are considered to be some of the very best players in the game at the moment. Beastie Cutie currently sits at rank 2. Viper currently sits at rank number 8. So very, very high quality players. Very, very talented, both of them. Beastie Cutie obviously winning N4C. So spoiler alert. Actually, isn't the spoiler... I think the spoiler alert is meant to come before I say that Beastie Cutie won N4C. But I'll be honest, if you guys are like... If it's if you're sitting like 2 weeks after N4C's finished and you're like, hey man, spoilers, it's like, bro, where have you been for 2 weeks? Like, N4C happened, man. Like, you got to watch those games. That's it. It was 4 patches ago at this point. But Beastie Cutie, he's going to be spawning down on this eastern side. You can see both players looking to open up with similar openings here. So both going on with a mill. 1 mil on the berries, 1 mil on the deer. So we've got a little bit of a variation now. One thing to note is this is not in the PUP, the public update preview. It is not part of the PUP. So we are playing on the live version of the game, which means that this mill on the deer, not as efficient, not as effective yet at this point in time. Because keep in mind, in the PUP, it is actually buffed up. It is a little bit stronger, but already we see Viper heading out to the gold mine, going to be looking to drop down a mining camp on that. Now, this to me already has some indications of what the plan might be for the Viper. So you're actually able to get up to the second age by building a landmark with only Imperial officials gathering gold, because obviously as China, I don't know, obviously, I guess, you know, people maybe they're watching this game for the first time and it's the first time they're seeing China. So China has a tax mechanic, it's down here, tax gold, and essentially you don't actually have to mine gold to drop down your landmark. You can just collect that gold from your buildings, because every time your villagers drop off every time they drop off something, they actually get a little bit of tax, or generate a bit of tax. And so you don't actually have to mine gold. And by the fact that Viper is mining gold already, that to me indicates that it's highly likely he's going to be going for a fast dynasty. So we'll see whether he does that and what he looks to do. Back on the other side, Beastie Cutie, however, not going to be going for that mining camp. Just going to be very happily on the berries here. So probably that to me indicates that he is not going to be going for a fast dynasty, at least not at this stage. He might change his mind in a little bit, but we'll see how he plays it. He's got quite a few villagers here on wood. You can see 6 villagers on wood, sending out the Imperial official to go collect the gold. He's going to be on his way back in. Needs to bring this one in as well. You can see he's up to 35 already. Actually, he's about 3 gold short. So he's pretty close to bringing that one in. Might even need to do a force drop. You can actually, there we go. So he should have enough now to bring it in. And then that'll be able to age him up to the next stage. There he comes now with the 40 gold in. So he is looking pretty decent as well. We'll check in over with Viper. Viper going to be going for an Imperial Academy. Also dropping down a mining camp on the stone. This is interesting because this to me says second town center. So Viper is really going ham. He is not just making a second town center. He's also going for the dynasty. So obviously we know he's going for... Maybe he goes for wheelbarrow. Early wheelbarrow is China. Probably not the best though. What is he doing? He gathered up 56 gold. Is he just going to use... I got no idea what Viper's doing. I don't think Viper knows what Viper's doing at the moment. Why have you got 56 gold, Viper? Maybe he's like... He's changed his plan around because he's gathered up 56 gold and he's like, wait a minute. I don't need that gold anymore. Or maybe he's just changed his plan completely. But Barbican coming out towards the front. Now, this is a great use of the Barbican. So something I want to talk about is the Barbican. A lot of people talk about the Barbican. They say, this Barbican, it's a useless landmark. And I kind of agree with you. It's pretty useless. But you can at least get a little bit more flexibility out of it in the early game by putting it in positions like this, where it guards a forward berries, or it guards a stone mine, or it guards both a berries, a deer patch, a stone mine, and a gold mine, and a wood line. Because why the heck not? It's basically the perfect Barbican. But the consequence of putting it forward like this is it is quite prone to any potential aggression, so you've always got to be careful of it. Typically, you know, if you've ever like one of the things that, like, if you've ever played with crypto or invested in crypto, they always say, don't invest more than what you're not afraid to lose, or something like that. Like, only invest what you're happy to lose, something like that. And I really feel like it's the same with the Barbican. Like, only put it, build the Barbican, but just be always afraid, or don't ever be afraid to lose it. Like, if it just dies, who cares? Like, it's just a Barbican. What is it going to do? It does barely any damage. You know, you can, and this is why we see people throw it away. This is why we see people, like, bring the Barbican up and put it on the freaking wood line right here. It's because it's just a Barbican. It doesn't offer you anything. It's a glorified outpost with a little bit more carry capacity. So, second town center now coming down for Beastie Cutie. Beautiful timing right there, about 525. Getting dropped down. He's got 9 villagers on that. Viper at the same time dropping down his town center. So both players here with a very similar build order here. Not the fastest times. The fastest time I think we've seen out of players is about 4 minutes 50 for the Chinese to get their second town center down. So still a little bit late, but obviously they are playing around, I guess you could say, a little bit differently, a little bit more. They're not playing in the vacuum environment, I like to call it. But Viper now scouting out his enemy, spots the second town center. Now, one of the things to note, when you're playing in an Abbasid mirror, and you see your enemy is going for 2 town centers and then going for a fast castle, what do you do? What's your reaction? Does anybody know? The reaction, or the correct approach is that you go 3 town centers into fast castle, and you can actually hold it. So that is the correct play. But the difference with the Chinese is that if you go for a 3rd town center and a Song Dynasty, it actually punishes you significantly because the Chinese have to pay full price for their villages. So you can see here it costs 50 food. So for you as the Abbasid dynasty to go into a 3rd town center, you're only paying an extra 25 food every cycle. Whereas as the Chinese, you're paying an extra 50 food every cycle, and your cycles are much faster. When I talk about cycles, I'm talking about your villages. So right now, you can see a villager comes out in 20 seconds, but after this dynasty comes through, so we already see the first landmark, second landmark about to get completed as well. We'll head and show you the Song dynasty right here. So it's going to reduce the time that it takes to build a villager by 35%, which means that you're cycling villagers every 13 seconds. And because you've got 3 town centers instead of 2, it means you're funneling more food into that second or into that 3rd town center, and it becomes very difficult to keep up with. And as a result, it's almost always a terrible idea to go 3 town center Song Dynasty boom versus 2 town center Song Dynasty boom. But we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we do see a 3rd town center coming out today. But both players are going to be mirroring each other. It is the Song Dynasty double TC boom off. Both players going to be doing the same thing. Imperial Academy coming down here. Viper already hitting that Song Dynasty timing. And now both players probably going to be looking to go up to the castle age. So villagers coming down now, so just looking to get a little bit more population space in here. We'll check in with Beastie Cutie, see exactly what he is doing. But he's probably going to be doing something similar. You can see 5 villagers on gold, dropping down a village as well on the gold mine. It's just like, it is literally mirror. Like, this is, I feel like they're talking to each other on Discord right now, and they're like, all right, I'm dropping down my landmark. Okay, I'm dropping mine down. All right, I'm going to put a village on my gold mine. Okay, I'm putting a village on mine. Like, it's literally that level of communication. At least that's the way it feels. Now, one of the consequences, and I do like to bring this up, is of a misplaced town center. And a lot of people might look at this and say there's nothing wrong with the placement of this town center. But one of the things to note is that when your Imperial official, like this, is supervising this mining camp, each of your villagers are actually dropping off more gold. And you can see Viper allocates his villagers to this mining camp, tries to keep them over on this side. What happens is, because they're doing that, they're also dropping off tax at the mining camp. The town center cannot receive tax that is dropped off by a villager. It can receive tax that's dropped off by an Imperial official, but not from a villager. And so it means that if you've got villagers that are on this side, instead of them dropping it off at the gold mine, they drop it, or at the mining camp, they drop it off at the town center. And that, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing because it means that you're losing out on tax. You're losing out on an extra 20% of gold every time that villager comes back. So always something to be aware of when placing down that second town center. Normally what you will see players do is put it down on a wood line like that, and then also put like, or have like a lumber camp here, and then place the town center right there next to the wood or the lumber camp. That way they're always guaranteed to have that extra resource coming through. And now we see the astronomical clock tower coming through for Beastie Cutie. Also going to be dropping down 2 barracks. We'll check back over on Viper's side, see how he's doing. Still a little bit slow to get up to his castle age, so going to be beaten out a bit by Beastie here. You can see Viper's got a lot more gold in the bank, though, than his counterpart So he's been mining up that gold, or collecting that gold, and Imperial Official doing work. He's sitting on 4 Imperial Officials at the moment, 50 villagers. Beastie sitting on 50 villagers, 4 Imperial Officials, so a little bit ahead. And now we've actually got Viper dropping down an archery range. Astronomical Clock Tower going to be coming down as well, so Viper going to be looking to counter his enemy. Now, one thing to note is that it doesn't seem like we've got any proactive scouting from Viper, so he's just playing with the assumption that it's going to be Palace Guards coming out from his enemy here. So we'll see how that works out for him. Now, obviously, on the other side, Beastie Cutie has spotted that out. Beastie Cutie saw the archery ranger, so he can subsequently anticipate those and knows how to respond to it. Monastery coming down immediately for him. I expect we'll see a couple of monks coming out. You can see them already heading to the middle of the map. A quick check of the relics will indicate that Viper actually gets a beautiful spawn, and this is part of the reason why we play with seeds. Why every single map in the Golden League, at least typically in the main event or the playoff stages, is going to be seeded, is because look at this. You've got one relic in the middle. You've got one relic over for Beastie, one relic for Viper, and then you've got a second relic for Viper, and then you've got a third relic for Viper. And I mean, even if you wanted to be like, if you wanted to be really, you know what, we'll call this one in the middle. It's right next to the sacred site. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. Like, you've got a very significant imbalance when it comes to the relics. Crossbowmen coming out. Beastie spots these crossbows coming out as they begin moving towards the front line as well. Obviously, Barbican going to be sitting happily up on this hill. The Barbicans somewhat look at each other. You've got the first Barbican that looks down upon the valley, the second one that looks up to it. But now Wall's going to be coming in as well. So Beastie doing what Beastie loves to do. Now, interesting to note, there doesn't appear to be any passages through. Sometimes there are passages through. You've got a passage down in this position here, but on this top side, no passages through. So it means you're going to have to be walking your entire way around. Palace Guard's now going to begin coming out. Now, one of the things that I hope Viper does is I hope he walls up the back of his base, because Beastie Cutie is notorious for doing these little run-bys. So we'll have to wait and see how he plays it. Monastery also coming out for Viper. So these guys really are just so mirrored. This is what I really like about the high level of Age of Empires 4, is players are at the exact same level. And this is something that I noticed in StarCraft. So back in the day, I'm talking like way back in StarCraft, Brood War days, you couldn't play online unless you played in what was called IC Cup. And in IC Cup, it was basically like not a proxy server, but like a VPN server kind of, you know, it was just like private servers. Let's just put it that way. It was private servers where you could actually go and play with Koreans. And they had like all these different rankings. You know, A or S was the highest, and then all the way down to D tier. And so you start off in D tier. And every single player, like you could not tell the difference between an S tier player and a D tier player up until like the 6th minute mark. And I feel like we're starting to get to that level now with our own players, because you can see that Viper up until the 12th minute is basically identical to Beastie Cutie. So you literally have, you know, the exact same build orders coming out for both of these players in this situation. And now Viper going to be coming through, manages to spot the Palace Guard, not going to actually be able to take it out, but going to be looking to focus down the villagers. A little bit of a crazy raid that's coming in here. He could very easily get picked up by a whole bunch of horsemen, but fortunately there are no horsemen out at the moment for Beastie Cutie. Viper just comes in, very annoying, raiding with crossbows. I don't think I've ever seen a crossbow raid in my life, but that is going to be the first time. But Beastie slowly but steadily picking up these relics. He actually manages to take one of Viper's relics, this one right here. Viper was heading out to it. And now at the same time, it looks like Viper going to be sieged down on this back line. Stone Wall manages to come up, so he's actually trapped in the Palace Guards that are back here. He's kept them in. He's caging them in completely. We see that the nest of bees was firing down upon Viper's units. Viper going to be falling back from that position. And now those raids going to begin coming in. Looks like he's managed to drop down his... He's got stone. He's got plenty of stone. Well, I say plenty of stone. He's got 197 on that stone. But now those raids coming in, and now we see like this is really where things start getting different. Viper gonna be got to be careful on this back line. Scout almost getting captured there by Beastie Cutie's Wallalol. Beastie probably going to be up to at least 3 relics now, and Viper going to be transitioning into farm. So you can definitely see that play is starting to get spiced up a little bit. Look at the walls coming out. You see like both players just walling up on their respective sides, preparing for the late game, and Viper making a little bit of a mistake attacking the Imperial official, the one eunuch that was in the crowd. Manages to get singled out, but unfortunately the villagers are going to be there to defend him. And now back over on that other side, Viper manages to clean up the palace guards. Viper doing a great job of cleaning all of these raids up at the same time. You know, it's that lack of walls that we were talking about. I'd love to see them out from him. Now the Nest of Bees is going to be coming out here. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Beastie just turns and focuses down this Nest of Bees, or at least tries to. But there are villagers that are standing by ready to get pulled in the event that he needs to. And now we start entering this sort of mid-game phase, and there's a lot of action, a lot of runarounds happening. Viper's not sitting on... How many relics are you on, Viper? You're on 1 relic at this point in time. Second relic is over here as well. So I think despite the bad spawn for Beastie Cutie, he's managed to secure up 3 of the 5 relics. So not terrible. Trebuchet now going to be moving into the middle. We did see a keep that was trying to come down. The Beastie Cutie denies it. And now villagers trying their best to heal up this counterweight Trebuchet. But you can see the Nest of Bees going to be moving in and firing down on those villagers. Indeed they do, managing to take out both of them, and now Trebuchet going to be falling back behind the Nest of Bees. Villagers still inside here. Trebuchet going to stay alive. Nest of Bees going to be turning their attention towards that keep. Viper probably going to have to cancel this one if he wants to avoid losing the resources that he's got. Actually, we'll take a look at Viper's perspective and we'll see what he does, because it is about to get denied. You can see he really wants to contest this, actually. Trebuchet continuing to move forward here. Going to be able to deny that outpost, but Viper definitely looking like he might be in a bit of a difficult position now. Nest of Bees out, and indeed it is going to be a cancel that comes through, and you can see how much damage was done to that keep. Viper only getting a 300 stone refund there, so really hurting Viper, unfortunately, for that. But more Trebuchets now continuing to come out. These bad boys are clock tower Trebuchet, so a little bit more health. But you really do feel like from this position, Beastie Cutie is definitely in control. He hasn't been raided a lot. I mean, realistically, when it comes to... Oh my god, when it comes to raids, there hasn't been a lot of raids. He's managed to control a lot of the map. I say that, but at the same time, see, this looks like it's under control. It is not under control. And mainly because there's a stone wall here. So that is concerning. He's got line of sight up here. He's continuing to move. Spots out the big gold vein. He's going to drop the keep down. This is kind of a ballsy keep, though. I'm going to be honest. You know your enemy's got trebs. So, like, why would you bother dropping this keep down? This keep, I feel like this keep is just gonna, it's a matter of time until this keep goes down, almost with 100% certainty. I don't know, it just feels a bit weird. Like, obviously you've got the stone, but at the same time, and like, this is important to gather up, but I don't know, I don't know how I feel about it. But we'll see how Beastie plays it out. Obviously, his back door is quite open as well, so he's got to be careful with that. I don't know what he thinks is happening on this flank. He knows that Viper has that open, but he has left it completely open himself. And that is the question that really comes into me, because obviously we can see what's happening. We know that there's crossbows down here. We know that there is a proxy coming down here. There's 3 stables that are potentially going to be building up to fire lances or something like that. That could very easily just destroy Beastie Cutie if he's not careful. A quick stock take reveals 103 versus 101 villagers, so play is very even at this point in time, really looking similar. And now Crossbow's moving back forward. Nest of Bees manages to actually get pincered against that Barbican of the Sun. Going to be going down Wallalol over towards the western side of the map, and we see that the villagers are managed to keep safe there. Monk doing God's work, let's just say that much. Now we've got the crossbows that continue to fight up against these palace guards, and I gotta say, Viper's not looking terrible at this point in time. He's obviously managed to do pretty decently in controlling these raids. It's been very difficult for him to do that, but at the same time, it doesn't look like he's been punished particularly hard. His villager count is still very high. He's not very far behind on military, like 42 versus 55, so he's still doing okay. He hasn't lost a lot of the map. In fact, I would argue that he's actually gained it. He's got the large gold vein down here. He's got 2 of the relics. He's got a safe sacred site if he wants to go and take that as well. But the main issue that he's going to have is that his enemy is just running rings around him at the moment. At least that's the way it feels. And you can see now that more units are continuing to funnel out. He's going to have to send crossbows up towards the north as those villagers continue running through. At the same time, Viper going to be looking to get some attacks on those villagers that are on the berry bushes, doing a great job. I don't think Beastie Cutie's realized that yet. He's probably microing on multiple fronts, and so yeah, you can just see that he is under attack everywhere. Crossbows going to be distracting him. Springald's starting to build up as well. He's got, how many Springalds is that? 6 Springalds? 5 Springalds coming out there. So now looking to actually gather up this gold. He's going to reveal the position. I don't think Viper knows about this yet. Viper obviously aware of the hunt up here. He's been gathering from it, but now spots out the villagers here, sees the keep, and now we are going to see the trebuchets move immediately over towards that position and target that down. Now villagers continuing to be harassed on this position. I would love to see just a wall on the back here, you know, a wall along here with a gate, something like that, just to stop these raids from coming through. Viper going to be dropping down his own keep, really realizes how important it is to control this gold vein, because when it comes to the gold veins, that is the key to winning the late game. If you control the gold, then you win the game. That is really how it works. And you can see that Viper has done a great job in controlling the first gold, the first large gold, I should say. Second large gold is still over here. Now, obviously, behind the base of Beastie Cutie, he's still got access to this one. But that is realistically it. He's got the second one on the front here, but Viper is going to be controlling these golds very, very effectively. And now we see those trebuchets moving down towards this position, going to be looking to siege this keep down. Now, one of the things to note is you don't actually need line of sight on the keep. All you need to do is focus ground or attack ground. So he knows that the keep is right there. So all he needs to do is just hit that G button and go attack ground right here. And he's going to be able to fire on it without even having line of sight. But now we see more raids continuing at the back. It looks like the horsemen going to get caught out of position here by the palace guards. He's got the upgrades on them, only going to have ranged armor, and now those horsemen continue to try and get past. A little bit of a Melbourne shuffle coming through there for some of those horsemen, but now we're going to watch those trebuchets as they manage to make their way up towards the keep, where they're going to be very safe. So Viper playing it safe. You can obviously sit in this valley and attack up here, but if you do that, then you leave yourself exposed to a potential run through, and then you lose that position. So what he's going to do instead is just look to set up these trebs and then take out this keep. So yeah, very curious decision. It was something that I sort of brought up when Beastie actually put that down. It's like, well, hold on, you know he's got trebs. Why would you go for a forward keep on his resources when, you know, it's so matter of fact that this keep is going to get denied? I think he could have probably achieved the same result just with outposts, which he's invested in here. But now Viper looking to continue putting defenses down in the middle of the map here, putting down the outpost to provide that line of sight. Gets the keep up as well. Nice and defensive. Castle on the hill looking very, very good. But all of these units continuing to funnel in. I don't know if Beastie knows about this proxy. I think, oh, you know what? I'm pretty confident Beastie knows about this proxy base. Villager going to be going down here before it manages to get up this final wall. You can see did a pretty valiant effort managing to get it to 1100 health. But obviously, he has been under significant attack. More walls coming up here, but finally manages to get that one down. So he's going to have to send a bit of a cleanup crew down there to help clean that one up. First trebuchet going to be coming out for Beastie Cutie, and now we're really starting to see this action continue to unfold on this map. Like, this is just going absolutely wild. There's action everywhere. These players are looking insane at this point in time. Now he's also going to be spotting out Viper on the gold here as well, so he knows that Viper is on that gold. Was that an Imperial Age being reached? That was an Imperial Age being reached. Viper just hit the Imperial Age. He's gone up with the Spirit Way, I can only assume. Let me check. Yeah, it's going to be the Spirit Way. So Spirit Way going down just next to the Barbican. I was looking for the Great Gatehouse, I think it's called. Obviously, I wasn't able to find it. Look at the Springle numbers now coming out from Beastie Cutie. Beastie Cutie playing a beautiful siege style. So this is something that Beastie Cutie loves to do. He goes for a mass siege composition. So essentially for mass Springles, mass Bombards, and mass Nest of Bees. And he's going to be substituting the Springles out in the late game, and he'll just be making Bombards with Nest of Bees. At least that is what you normally see. But it looks like it's going to be the Great Gatehouse coming through for Beastie Cutie. At least I'm assuming that that's what that is. Yeah, it is. Look at Beastie right now, putting down the Great Wall Gatehouse. Oh my god. So what does this actually do? Must be built on a stone wall, increases the health of stone walls and gates by 100%, and nearby troops on the wall deal 50% more damage. Oh no, wait, nearby troops on walls deal 50% more damage. So it doesn't have to be next to the Great Wall Gatehouse. It just needs to be on a wall. If they are nearby a wall, this is next level Chinese strategies right here. The single gate. Look at this. The one gate to rule all gates. Oh lord. Beastie Cutie now under siege. The Bombard gonna have to fall back. No pyrotechnics coming through for Viper. For anybody unfamiliar with pyrotechnics, we'll take a look at the university, because that's gonna reveal that he is indeed researching pyrotechnics. Increases the range of gunpowder units by 20%. So what's a gunpowder unit? Anything that uses gunpowder. So as an example, Clock Tower Bombard, that is a gunpowder unit. What about the hand cannoneer? That uses gunpowder. What about the Grenadier? Gunpowder. What about the Nest of Bees? Where is she? Here she is. Gunpowder. So the range increased by 20% for all of those units. Also increases the range on the Baoshuan as well, which is the ship that the Chinese have got access to. So that is important to note. But now that Trebuchet going to be trying its best to attack uphill. It's working slowly towards killing that outpost on the top of the hill, but now the Springle's going to be coming out. Does have that upgrade. He's got the roller shutter triggers in there, so going to be able to do a little bit more work than his enemy, because Viper's still yet to grab that upgrade. But you can see the Bombard sitting back there. The difficult position here for Beastie Cutie is he has invested a lot of resources in these Springlets, and they are effective, but you need to have enough to actually one-shot a Bombard. So he's got 120 damage coming out here. Bombards have got 720 health. So he's going to need 6 to one-shot that Bombard, but they've also got 15 armor. So he's going to need 7. And so then we take a look here. He's got 8 Clock Tower Springlets. So he's got enough to one-shot it, but if he loses 2, then he will not have enough. And it's really important that he has enough to one-shot. So a bit of a lull now entering into the game as players are walling up and reaching a point where they appreciate that it's imperative that they maintain control of the map. But now we see Beastie actually putting down a bit of a counter-attack down towards his southern position. Trebuchet going to continue unfolding. All of these Palace Guards going to be looking to try and just siege this down slowly, prevent any potential threat of a secondary attack coming through. But we do see Elite Horsemen coming out from Viper now, down towards this south position. Neither of these positions being scattered out by Viper here, but slowly and steadily it's going to be taken out. And now at the same time on the front line, you can see the Bombards just doing absolute work. Viper up to 190 population at the moment. Beastie sitting at 200. Now they're going to start stacking up resources, and Beastie going to be looking to complete a wall here. Now it looks like Elite Horsemen going to be coming out again for Viper on this position. I'm checking because I'm not sure if they're Fire Lancers. That's the reason why I'm clicking on the units, because I'm very hesitant to call them a Horseman unless they say Horseman, because the Fire Lancer model does look very, very similar to them. But we can see that walls continue to get added in here for Beastie Cutie. He is looking to hold this position and at the same time push forward with the Nesta Bees. And Nesta Bees, has he got the upgrade yet, Beastie Cutie? Let's take a look and see. He's got the University, and now he's getting the Pyrotechnics upgrade. Ancient Techniques going to be coming through, as well as Elite Army Tactics. I'm curious to see, what does this do? Increases the gathering rate of villagers by 5% for each dynasty achieved. So if you've achieved 3 dynasties, I'm assuming, I think Song Dynasty is where the first ones start counting. So 20% for everything? That's like 20% gathering on lumber, 20% gathering on gold. Deletes the villagers. We saw it happen in real time. He's down to 105 villagers at this point in time. And I mean, when you're stacking up this many resources, it kind of makes sense to delete those villagers. But now breaking through this stone wall towards the south, you can see that there's still 7,000 gold in this, and that's what Beastie is fighting over down here. He knows how important it is to maintain control of this area. At the same time, we've got raids coming up at the north position, or rather the east position. Once again, Elite Horsemen breaking through. Viper now going to be looking to mine wood or chop wood in the middle here. Finds a stealth forest, and he says, you know what? They're ugly, they're dead, they're decapitated, dilapidated. I don't know where the decapitated came in, but dilapidated. We're still going to take them. They still give us wood. Because one of the issues on this map is that you have a significant lack of wood. So 2 large wood lines typically for players. You can see Viper going to be trying his best to get the last remaining wood. Other than that, sometimes you get a forest spawn in the middle. Sometimes you don't. And it looks like in this case they do not. So now Viper managing to hold. Ideally going to be looking to siege down the counterweight Trebuchet with his villagers here. Probably going to be able to do it. You can see he's got a couple back here repairing. At the same time, raids going on. Viper trying to take control of this map, but just not having a lot of luck. This position did get caught out, or did get cleaned up. Let's go with that. But Trebuchet going to be going down here. Looks like he's managed to repair the wall down towards this position. Still no great gatehouse, you can tell by the health of the walls. But look at the walls for Beastie, just how much health they've got on them. They've got 7,000 walls on them. So Beastie going to be very happy with his walls. Definitely going to be securing his position in the late game. I'd love to see from Beastie just like a stone wall down here. Like quite literally stone walls, like a stone wall across here. Literally everywhere. Like you need to be stone walling, because if you don't, like your enemy can always push through. And now we see the stone walls coming up. This is the correct play, 100%. And I love the way that he's actually just put half a stone wall in to stop run buyers coming through. Direct his enemy down towards the Barbican, down towards this position where there's a lot more keeps. It makes sense. And now you can see the siege numbers really starting to build up. 8 Springlets, 8 counter or clock tower. Sorry, did I say 8 clock tower Nesta Bees? No, it's only 4. So 4 clock tower Nesta Bees. 2 Bombards going to be coming out as well. We'll take a look at Viper and see exactly what he's got going on, but now beginning to move around towards this position. And this is where having the cracks in the cliffs is really going to pay a difference, because Viper has to do a bit of a runaround towards this position. You can see Viper has to break through, whereas Beastie can just come through down towards this position. He can wall it off. He can very easily come around and challenge this position, whereas Viper has to go all the way around like that. So it becomes very difficult for him to to manage that, especially because there's the 8k gold mine that he needs to fight. Now Barbican going to be under attack. Siege happening down towards the south. It looks like the elite horsemen. It's indeed elite horsemen. They're going to be trying to defend this position. You can see the clock tower bombard's going to be going down. These are expensive units. 1,000 resources on each of these, and both of them going to be going down here. The first one has managed to go down. Second one probably going to get siege down as well. Obviously, a little bit more damage coming through for these units in the most recent patch. But now, speaking of siege going down, I don't see any bombards, and in fact, the bombards did. I think they fell back. So Barbican of the Sun still standing strong. But Viper really looking to push in. He's got this crossbow composition that's actually doing quite well, paired up with the elite horseman. So I like what he's doing. It makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I mean, he's sitting on a very high villager number. Compare that over to Beastie, who's sitting on 104. But look at the macro difference between these two. He's got 15,000 food. And I feel like even though Beastie, so many people consider Beastie Cutie to be the best late game player there is in the game. But still you can see that they're like, obviously it's not perfect. I mean, 15,000 food, that's an awful lot of food. But now we can see that he's obviously deleted villagers, so he's trying to add more to his army. And now Viper going to be pushing in. Using his elite horseman will enter into the cinematic mode right now, so you can witness it in all of its glory as the farms try their best to stay strong with their wheat, but unfortunately, or rice rather, but not going to have a lot of luck as all of these horsemen going to be coming in, and listen to those nest of bees just firing off on the back line. All of that gets cleaned up. But keep in mind, a lot of those springalds did get taken out. So Viper manages to dive about 4 of those springalds. Only 4 of them remain standing. And Beastie Cutie definitely going to be under threat. I mean, he's not looking pretty right now. Still yet to take control of this second gold mine. He's got palace guards behind it, but I think he might have forgotten about it. He does have this gold mine up towards the north, but really, the late game for China on this map, it always comes down to gold. Viper also sealing up this gold towards the north as well. He's gone for a great gatehouse as well, or the Great Wall Gatehouse, so he's going to have extra strong walls here. And you can see he's actually repairing them up as well. He's got the repair coming out from, I think it's the outposts. I'm not 100% sure, but you can see it's got the repair over the top. 7,000 health on those bad boys, and slowly but steadily, Beastie Cutie is breaking through this position. He knows that he needs to challenge this gold, but Viper, you can see he's already taken 3,000 of this gold out. Still maintains that this gold up towards this position, only 1,500. At the same time, Beastie has run out of gold completely. 0 villagers on gold at this point in time. The only gold he's got access to is this one in the front, and it's very, very prone to being attacked. So that's definitely going to be a last resort for him. He sits on 106 population at the moment, or 106 villager population at the moment, and now manages to push his enemy off the gold mine. So this is really what it comes down to. It's all about controlling the gold in the late game. He who controls the gold controls the world. And now all of those horsemen going to be coming in and looking to control this position. When it comes to stats, horsemen actually do relatively well up against the palace guards. Obviously, not as much not as much attack. Obviously, not as much defense as well. So there's a bit of a difference there. You've got 15 and 3 versus, so it would be 17 and 8. So about double damage coming through on those palace guards and a little bit more health. But now we've got a counter wall that comes up for Beastie Cutie. So slowly but steadily, he is gathering or gaining on this position. Now, you can see that there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement. He could definitely add in Stonewall Towers here if he wanted to. He's not going to do that because they are playing by the rules of Golden League. That is what this game is all about. It is about preparing for Golden League and making sure that you are in the best position possible when Golden League finally comes around. It's going to be happening this weekend. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description of Golden League where you can check it out. But we can see the Beastie Cutie once again trying to hold on in this position, but wasting a bit of, not wasting a bit of resources, wasting a bit of population. Raids now happening. We don't see a full wall coming through for Beastie, and even if we did, I mean, Viper's doing such a great job of sieging it down. Where are the majority of Viper's army at this point in time? How much has he got? I look for a hotkey just then, but he's actually moved them all around to this position, just fights over the gold. He says, you know what? I really need to control this gold. He's got so many crossbows on the back, and the crossbows really seem to be the difference in this situation. So Viper definitely appreciates that. Now, looking to clean up this keep. Now, keep in mind, Beastie doesn't actually have enough resources for a keep. If these villagers go down, then he's not going to be able to hold this position. And that's going to be terrible for him. More villagers going to be coming through, though, to back him up. We'll check the villager count. He's sitting on 102 at the moment compared to 120 for Viper. So still relatively even. And now Viper going to be putting down a response in, or a keep in response. Plenty of villagers there for him as well. 14. And now those villagers get inside the keep. Boiling oil already researched. So he's going to be able to start spreading that delicious boiling oil all over the enemy. And at the same time, the keep on the front line going to be under attack. All the bombards starting to come out now from Beastie, and now Beastie under significant threat because all of the horsemen going to be running in. You can see the bombards turning around, and Beastie really starting to build up this mass ball of siege. Plenty of these Nesta Bees coming out. A lot of bombards here. Only a handful of Springalds left. He has not built any more, but continuing to add bombards. Ideally, he needs to add more Nesta Bees. There's not enough Nesta Bees here to cover against the cavalry. He needs to be hitting up about like 10 Nesta Bees, and you'll be absolutely fine against them. But now, once again, going to be falling back. We'll head into the cinematic mode because Viper is doing a cavalry charge. He manages to go straight past the spears of his enemy. You can see more spears looking to reinforce from this position. Viper going to be looking to focus down all the siege from his enemy. Keep in mind, they are fighting over the gold at the same time. If Beastie loses out on this siege, or if he loses this siege, then he's got no more gold to replace the siege, and this is the composition that he's gone for. And slowly but steadily, all the siege gets taken out. Viper does an amazing job cleaning it up. Siege looking incredibly difficult to control. Bombard manages to stay alive. We see a second bombard actually coming out from over on the right-hand side of the screen. Beastie Cutie looking to try and hold on in this position. It's just so difficult, though. Viper is just in complete control. Beastie Cutie sitting with 23,000 food and 28 wood. 28. Well, he's got on 83 right now. 500 gold, 240 stone. And that really just goes to show what late game China is all about. It's all about controlling those resources. He who has the resources has the world. But now, once again, it looks like Beastie's actually been denied this position. The Keepers managed to come up. I'm not sure exactly what happened. You know what? I know exactly what happened. The bombards happened. And now, once again, Viper going to be able to take control of the gold vein. He's still got this one up to the north with 2 villagers just sarcastically, you know, doing their best. But it looks like Viper going to be such a happy camper right now and still holding the middle. We see the horsemen now beginning to move forward at the same time. All of these bombards going to be going down. First one gets evaporated. Second one going to be going down as well. And you can see how much damage comes out. Villagers moving forward, looking to try and repair, but at the same time, the Nesta Bees on the back line going to be under attack, and you can see the spears just trying to catch up to the horsemen, getting completely out-microed in the late game. I would have loved to have seen a bit of a line formation out there, just to be a bit more defensive, a bit of a screen run, but now we see the bombards continuing to move forward from Viper. Viper looking incredibly strong right now. I don't think that Beastie's going to be able to hold in this position, just because Beastie is out of resources. He's lost the majority of his siege. He's got villagers, but at the same time, like, realistically, what does he have? Like, it's such a difficult position for him now, going to be moving forward with spears. I mean, spears are good, I guess, but at the same time, it's not going to win the game for you. And now, Beastie's managed to sell about 8,000 of his food. He's got about 2,300 gold. Has he set up trade yet? He has indeed set up trade. He is now officially a trader. So he has got his eToro account, his Coinbase account, whatever it is he's got, he is now trading, and he is looking to make ends meet that way. So definitely a smart move, but the question is, for me, did it come too late? I mean, we're at a point where there's no wood left on the map. There's barely any gold left on the map. I say barely any gold left on the map. You've got this one that sits in the middle, but obviously very prone to being attacked. You've got the one down to the south, but obviously Viper's got control of that. The one up to the north, Viper's got control of as well. Another outpost, or keep rather, going to be placed down in the center. A lot of villagers here. How many villagers are dropping that one down? It's 15 villagers going to be taking that down. And now Beastie Cutie going to be holding on again, but now we see once again the runaround coming through from Viper. Viper looking so incredibly strong as we head into the cinematic mode. All of these bombards going to be trying their best to stay alive, and you can see Beastie Cutie's managing to add just bombards. His composition at this position is bombard and bombard, and Beastie taps out. Viper wins the game, victorious, incredible style coming through from him. It is all about resources when it comes to that late game. Fellas, I hope you're looking forward to Golden League. These two guys are playing absolutely out of their mind. It is incredible to see them and watch them play at this level. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.